Okay, so let's dive into this. We've got some really fascinating articles here from The Liat Show.
Yeah.
All about Ofra Haza.
Right?
And February 23rd
Yes.
marks 25 years since her passing.
It does.
And, a lot of people remember her for her incredible music.
Right.
But
absolutely.
There's so much more to uncover
Yes, there is.
about her life and legacy.
It's true.
Yeah.
Ofra's story is so deeply intertwined with the cultural landscape of Israel, particularly the struggles of Mizrahi music to gain acceptance.
Right.
She wasn't just a singer.
Oh.
She was a symbol of change and a voice for a whole generation.
For those who maybe aren't familiar, can you give us some context on what The Liat Show is all about?
Sure. The Liat Show is a platform created by Liat Portal,
Okay.
and she is a journalist and a cultural commentator.
Got it.
Who's passionate about shedding light on untold stories and diverse perspectives within Israeli society.
Yeah.
You can find her work on various platforms: Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Patreon. And she already has a global audience spanning 84 countries and 33 U.S. states.
That's impressive.
And what's remarkable is her ability to connect with people from all walks of life, regardless of their background or familiarity with Israeli culture.
Yeah.
She truly has a knack for weaving together personal stories, cultural insights.
I agree. I'm hooked.
Yeah?
These articles are great.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So, back to Ofra Haza.
Okay.
For someone who might not know her music, who was she?
Ofra Haza was this powerhouse vocalist born in 1957 to Yemeni Jewish parents.
Okay.
She rose from poverty in Tel Aviv's Hatikva neighborhood, the youngest of 9 children.
Wow.
Imagine the sounds and stories that must have filled her childhood home.
Yeah.
It's almost like a movie script. At 12 years old, she's singing at a wedding.
Wow.
And someone from a local theater workshop hears her paving the way for this life-changing encounter with Bezalel Aloni, her future manager.
Talk about a pivotal moment.
Exactly.
Makes you wonder what would have happened if that person hadn't been at that wedding.
It's those seemingly small events that can alter the course of history.
Right.
By the 1980s, Ofra was a household name in Israel.
Oh.
Her music was this captivating blend of traditional Yemenite folk songs and modern pop elements.
I think that's what drew so many people to her music. That fusion of old and new, Imni Nalu, was a global sensation, topping the charts everywhere.
Yes.
I remember dancing to it in high school.
Really?
It was unlike anything else at the time.
Imni Nalu is a fantastic example of Ofra's impact.
Yeah.
It's actually based on a Yemenite poem set to a traditional melody.
Oh, wow.
The version that went global with English lyrics was sparked by American rappers Eric B. and Rakim, who sampled her voice from an earlier recording.
Wow, I did not know that.
And that remix, along with her manager's vision, helped propel her onto the world stage.
Wow.
It even topped the German charts for 9 weeks straight.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
I know.
What's fascinating is how her music traveled across borders and cultures.
Yes.
But as she was achieving international success, she was also navigating a complex cultural landscape back in Israel.
Yes.
Tell us about the resistance she faced with Mizrahi music.
To understand this, we need to go back to the socio-political climate of Israel at the time.
Okay.
Mizrahi music, which beautifully blends Middle Eastern and North African influences, was often dismissed as Oriental, a term loaded with prejudice and seen as less sophisticated than Western sounds.
Right.
And this wasn't just about musical taste.
Right.
It reflected deeper societal tensions and power dynamics within Israel.
So Ofra, as a champion of this genre, was pushing against deeply ingrained attitudes.
Absolutely.
That must have taken incredible courage.
Absolutely. Even her album Shirei Taiman, a collection of Yemenite folk songs, was largely ignored by Israeli radio.
Wow.
It's heartbreaking to think that something so beautiful was met with such resistance.
Yeah.
Ironically, that same album, re-released in England as 50 Gates of Wisdom, received rave reviews from international music critics.
It's a classic example of how something rejected in one place can find immense appreciation elsewhere.
Exactly.
It speaks volumes about the power of perspective and the limitations of cultural biases.
It also highlights the crucial role that artists like Ofra, Shoshana Damari, Zohar Argov played in challenging the status quo and fighting for recognition of Mizrahi music.
Yeah.
It was a long and difficult battle, and it's still ongoing.
Wow.
Ofra's Grammy nomination, the first for an Israeli artist in the world music category, was a significant milestone in that fight.
It's truly inspiring how she used her platform to elevate Mizrahi music and challenge perceptions.
She was a trailblazer in so many ways.
Right.
Think about it. She collaborated with international stars like Iggy Pop,
Wow.
Paula Abdul,
Right.
even performed at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony.
That's amazing.
Ofra was a true cultural ambassador for Israel.
Yeah.
Though, interestingly, she declined an invitation to sing for the Pope.
Really?
Staying true to her beliefs. It
Uh-huh.
speaks to her strength of character and her commitment to her values.
Right.
But there's another side to her story.
Okay.
A darker chapter.
Yeah. That we need to address.
You're referring to the circumstances surrounding her untimely death in 2000, right?
Yes. Ofra Haza died from AIDS-related complications.
Right.
And the details are both heartbreaking and shrouded in controversy.
Yeah.
It raises questions about secrecy, societal pressures,
Right.
and the stigma surrounding the disease.
From what I've read, her family believes her husband infected her.
Right.
And that her desire to get married and have children might have led her down a path that ultimately cost her life.
There's a lot of pain and blame there, understandably.
Yeah.
But it also underscores the immense pressure women face,
Yeah.
particularly within more traditional cultures.
Right.
The need to conform to expectations to please their families.
Yeah.
It's a tragic element of her story.
Absolutely. It reminds us that behind the fame and accolades, there are real people with real struggles.
And that's a crucial part of understanding Ofra Haza's legacy, both the triumphs and the tragedies.
Right.
But before we delve into that...
There's another unbelievable aspect to her life that we should discuss.
Oh, what's that?
She survived not one but two near-death experiences.
What?
A plane crash in 1987 and a lightning strike on another flight in 1994.
Wow, that's incredible. She really defied fate on multiple occasions.
I know, it's unbelievable.
It makes you wonder what more she would have accomplished if she had lived longer. What other musical boundaries would she have broken? What other cultural barriers would she have challenged?
Those are questions that linger, and they're part of what makes her story so compelling.
Right.
Her legacy is undeniable, but it's also tinged with a sense of what could have been.
It definitely leaves you wanting to know more and to explore her music further.
Yeah. It's fascinating.
It is.
Yeah, it really is fascinating. All those what-ifs really stick with you.
Right.
But
let's talk more about that final chapter.
Oh.
What led to her hospitalization in February of 2000?
Well, the circumstances surrounding her illness and death are where things get particularly complicated. She began experiencing flu-like symptoms, weakness, dizziness.
Okay.
Initially, she was hesitant to seek hospital care. And what's truly unsettling is that both her husband and close friend, Dr. Mimi Hutman-Perry,
Right.
who was also her gynecologist, seemingly discouraged hospitalization.
This is where the secrecy surrounding her illness comes into play, right? The articles mention that her family felt betrayed when they learned about her AIDS diagnosis.
Yes, the family's account is that they were kept in the dark about Ofra's condition.
Wow.
Dr. Hutman-Perry had diagnosed her with AIDS 9 months prior, but the treatment was handled discreetly at the doctor's private clinic.
Wow.
The family only discovered the truth when Ofra was finally admitted to the hospital.
Imagine the shock and confusion they must have felt.
It's hard to fathom.
It's hard to fathom dealing with such a devastating illness
Right.
while also grappling with the realization that it was kept hidden.
Yeah.
The articles from the Liette show really delve into the complexities of this situation.
They do.
They don't shy away from the difficult questions, which I appreciate.
Liat Portal does a phenomenal job of presenting multiple perspectives.
Yeah.
According to the articles, Ofra's brother Yar
Okay.
is adamant that she wasn't fully aware of the severity of her condition.
Right.
He believes it was intentionally concealed from her.
Wow.
Now, we can't definitively know what transpired,
Right.
but these claims add another layer of tragedy to an already heartbreaking situation.
It makes you reflect on the power dynamics and trust
Yeah.
within those closest to her. So once she was hospitalized, what happened?
Her condition deteriorated rapidly.
Okay.
Professor Zev Rothstein, who was the hospital director at the time, described it as a toxic reaction to the medication she was receiving for AIDS.
So the treatment itself was potentially causing further harm.
It appears that while the medication was suppressing the virus,
Okay.
it also led to severe side effects,
Wow.
ultimately resulting in multiple organ failure. This was a period when AIDS treatment was still evolving, and the understanding of long-term effects and potential complications was less developed than it is today.
A tragic reminder of how far we've come in terms of medical advancements, but also how much further we still need to go.
Yes.
The articles mention that she passed away just 12 days after being admitted.
Yes, it was a devastating loss that sent shockwaves through Israel and the global music community.
Right.
And the controversy, as you might imagine, didn't end there.
Right.
Ofra's family filed a police complaint accusing her husband of infecting her and delaying necessary hospitalization.
What was the outcome of that investigation?
Ultimately, no charges were filed.
Okay.
A Ministry of Health committee, after a thorough investigation, concluded that while there might have been missteps in how her illness was managed, there wasn't enough evidence to support claims of negligence or foul play.
But the questions and speculation continued. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The secrecy surrounding her illness only fueled the public's desire to understand what had happened.
Right.
We have to remember that the social stigma surrounding AIDS was incredibly different back then.
Right.
It was a time of fear and misinformation.
Uh-huh.
People diagnosed with the disease often faced immense shame and discrimination.
So it's understandable in a way why Ofra, or those close to her, might have chosen to keep her condition private.
That's a crucial point.
Right.
It speaks to the pervasive fear and lack of understanding that surrounded AIDS at the time.
Yeah.
Perhaps if the environment had been more open and accepting, things might have unfolded differently.
Right.
Maybe she would have felt comfortable seeking help sooner.
Yeah.
Or maybe the pressure to conceal her illness wouldn't have been so intense.
Yeah.
It's impossible to say for sure, but it highlights the broader societal context and how it impacts individual choices and actions.
It's a tragic what-if scenario, but one that prompts important conversations about awareness, compassion, and the need for open dialogue surrounding health issues.
Yes.
It's been 25 years since Ofra's passing,
right.
So it's also an opportunity to reflect on her legacy.
Yeah.
What does she represent to Israelis and the world today?
Ofra Haza's impact extends far beyond her music.
Yeah.
She became a cultural icon,
Right.
a symbol of bridging divides,
Right.
and a testament to the power of perseverance.
I agree.
She didn't just introduce the world to the beauty and richness of Mizrahi music.
Right.
She did so while navigating cultural biases and personal struggles.
Her journey full of highs and lows makes her achievements even more remarkable.
It really does.
She was a trailblazer who challenged conventions and helped reshape perceptions of what Israeli music could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's amazing to think about how her music just connected with people from all these different backgrounds.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what would her career even look like today
Oh, yeah.
in the age of social media and global streaming?
It's a great question.
Right.
It is, imagine Ofra connecting with millions of fans directly through Instagram,
Right.
sharing her music and stories.
Right.
She could collaborate with artists across genres and continents,
Mm-hmm.
breaking down even more barriers. I mean,
Right.
the possibilities are endless.
She would undoubtedly be a global superstar in today's music landscape.
Oh, for sure.
And on that note, just for fun,
Okay.
if they were to make a movie about her life,
Yeah,
who do you think should play her?
that's a tough one.
Yeah.
You would need an actress
Yeah.
who could embody her incredible voice,
Yeah.
her captivating presence,
Right.
and her unwavering spirit.
Yeah.
Someone who could convey the complexities of her journey,
Yeah.
the triumphs, the struggles, the cultural significance.
What about Gal Gadot?
Oh, interesting.
She's got the international recognition.
She does.
She's Israeli.
Uh-huh.
And she's proven she can handle both dramatic and action-packed roles.
Gal Gadot would be an excellent choice.
Yeah.
But honestly, any actress who takes on that role
Right.
would have big shoes to fill.
It'd be a challenge.
It would be a challenge.
Yeah.
But rewarding.
But a rewarding one.
Yeah.
Speaking of rewarding projects, I want to circle back to the Liat show for a moment.
Yeah.
These articles have been so insightful.
I'm glad.
And I can tell how much Liat Portal cares about giving a voice to diverse perspectives.
Yeah.
What's the best way for listeners to support her work?
Well, she offers various subscription options depending on your preferred platform and level of support.
Okay.
You can become a founding member or an annual member for a one-time fee,
Okay.
or you can opt for a monthly subscription on Substack for $8 a month,
Okay.
or on Patreon for just $1 a month.
That's fantastic. So accessible.
I know.
For anyone who wants to delve deeper into Israeli culture and engage in these important conversations.
Uh-huh.
It's inspiring to see that the Liat show already has a global reach.
Yes.
Listeners in 84 countries and 33 U.S. states.
It speaks to Leah's talent as a storyteller.
Yeah.
When you share authentic experiences and connect with people on a human level,
Right.
it resonates regardless of geographical boundaries.
It does.
She's creating a space for understanding and dialogue, which is so vital in today's world.
Well said. This deep dive has been eye-opening and incredibly moving.
Hmm.
I feel like I've gained a whole new appreciation for Ofra Haza, not just as a musician,
Yeah.
but as a woman who navigated immense challenges and left an indelible mark on the world.
It's been a privilege to explore her story with you.
Likewise.
And I hope it inspires our listeners to seek out her music and discover her incredible artistry for themselves.
Me too. And to learn more about the complexities of Israeli culture, definitely check out The Liat Show.
Yes.
You won't regret it. But before we wrap up,
Okay.
I want to leave our listeners with a final thought to ponder.
Okay.
We've discussed the impact Ofra Haza had on the world. But what about the impact the world had on her?
Oh.
How did her experiences, both positive and negative,
Right.
shape her music and her message?
That's a great question to reflect on. How do our surroundings, our encounters, the
Right.
joys and sorrows we experience influence who we become, both as artists and as individuals?
Food for thought indeed. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the life and legacy of Ofra Haza.
Of course.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep the music playing.